the universe of the notes. Mr. Evren is a music teacher and Mrs. Yağmur is a dance teacher. They have a daughter named Serenat and a son named Sonat. Sonat's dream of moving to a house with a garden has finally come true. Mr. Evren's first gift to his children in their new home is a telescope. This surprise is the first step of the mysterious and exciting journey that Serenat and her sister will make to the universe of the notes. Sonat's dream came true. With the last stops loading to the trucks, Mr. Evren gave the keys to the new residence of the home. He went with running step to his wife, Mrs. Yasemin, his little son Sonat, and his daughter Serenat, who are in the car. Everyone laughed in the car when Sonat asked, "Will we sleep at the street, Daddy?" with his confused look. When Mr. Evren said, "Will it ever happen, my dear son? We were going to our new home right now. All our stuffs and your room will also come there. And don't you always say, 'I wish we had a house with a garden'? Look, your dream came true. You are going to sleep in our new house and your new room tonight. Also, I have a surprise for both of you." Sonat raised his both arms to the air and hugged his sister, said, "Hurry!" The Çelik family moved to a site which has duplex houses with their own gardens. After parking their car into the garage, they went to the load truck which arrived before them. Serenat and Sonat had already started playing in the garden while Mrs. Yasemin and Mr. Evren were helping the carriers. While they were running around, first the apple and apricot trees caught their attention. They loved these fruit-growing trees. When Sonat said, "We can feed these trees every day, won't we?" to his sister replied him saying, "But trees don't eat, Sonat." After a while, thinking about it, Sonat asked, "Well, do they drink water, sister?" Serenat replied as, "Yes, they do. We will come here and water them, if you want. And rain water is the main thing feeding them, so they don't get hungry, don't worry." As they were playing, they heard a voice saying, "Hey," from the next garden. Two siblings looked to the way where the voice came. The owner of the voice was nobody but Beste, who came to them with her smiling face. She came with running steps. She said, "Hello, my name is Beste. I live in your next door. Have you just moved?" Sonat shook his head, approving her. It made also Serenat happy, finding a smiling peer from the first day. Serenat replied to Beste saying, "Yes, we just arrived. My name is Serenat and my brother's is Sonat. We are happy to meet you." After a while, Mrs. Yasemin and Mr. Evren came to the siblings who were playing with Beste. Mrs. Yasemin carried Beste's hat and said, "I see that you two already made a friend by now," and introduced herself. At that time, Beste's mother, Mrs. Ayşe, said hi to their new neighbors. After a little chat, it was time to go home. Serenat and Sonat said goodbye to Beste to meet later. When Sonat, who was carried by his father, asked, "Daddy, what was your surprise today?" his father replied saying, "Wait for the night, little one." Imagine is the first step to reality. Serenat was very cheerful all day long. She played games with her brother, helped her mother in the kitchen. She even took her father's coffee in the evening. There was only one reason for this happiness: to be able to meet her friends again. Serenat and Sonat's pianos took their place in the corner of their upstairs room. Mr. Evren was a music teacher. His wife, Mrs. Yağmur, is also a folk dance teacher. For this reason, music and dance were indispensable in the lives of the Çelik family. Naturally, the children benefit greatly from the beauties of the growing up in a such home. Both were very interested in music and played the piano. In fact, Serenat had intensified her studies for the conservatory exams she was going to take that year. They ate their dinner. Mr. Evren was finally able to sit in his seat. The sleeping hours of the children were long past due to the confusion of the first day. Mrs. Yağmur said, "Today is long past your bedtime, but since it is the first day in our new house, you are allowed to sit a little longer, guys. Besides, maybe your father has something to talk to you about." Mr. Evren said, "Come, let me see you." He put Serenat on one knee and Sonat on the other. "Now, we are going to play a question and answer game with you, okay? I will ask you a question and you will give the answer you have in mind, okay?" he said to his children. Serenat and Sonat replied, "Okay." The times they enjoyed the most were the moments their father. They would obviously be very happy again. Mr. Evren asked, "What is the thing that warms our world during the day and gives light?" Sonat immediately cast it as the sun. Serenat hadn't answered this easy question because she purposely wanted her brother to be happy. Mr. Evren asked another question. "Well, what are the things we can see in the night sky?" This time Serenat said, "The biggest object visible at night is the moon, Daddy. There are also many stars. Our teacher said that their exact number is unknown, perhaps in the billions." "Yes," said Mr. Evren. "Well, wouldn't you like to take a closer look at the sky?" he asked. The two siblings looked at each other and said, "We would like to. Then let's go out to the garden with you," said Mr. Evren. Holding Serenat and Sonat by the hand, he said to Mrs. Yağmur, "We are going out to garden a bit, my dear," he called. Mrs. Yağmur, who was smiling and saying "okay" from the kitchen, had already appeared. When they went out into the garden, they saw something on a three-legged stick, facing towards the sky. "This is the surprise I told you guys about. The telescope is now yours. You can watch and explore the sky as you wish," said Mr. Evren. Overjoyed, the siblings said, "Hurray!" They jumped and hugged each other. Sonat looked at the sky first. "Sister, if I reach out to the moon, I will hold it. The stars are also very close," he said excitedly. Serenat, who was getting more and more curious, said, "Let me take a look, brother. I'm very curious." She asked permission from her brother and rested her eyes on the telescope. Serenat seemed enraged. How beautiful the sky was that she didn't pay much attention to every night. The siblings, who watched the sky a little longer, hugged their father and thanked him for his beautiful gift. They took the telescope with them and returned home. They put down their telescope by placing them in front of the floor to ceiling window in their room, pointing it towards the sky. It had been a very tiring but also fun day. The siblings, who were washing their hands and brushing their teeth, were already asleep as soon as they got into their beds. New friends in the sky. Serenat got up from her bed to drink the water on her desk. As she was about to drink her water and go back to bed, her eyes fell on the telescope standing by the window. She wanted to watch the sky and lie down like that. She sat on the floor and rested her eyes on the telescope. It was a cloudless summer evening. The sky sparkled like a mirror. Millions of stars seemed to dance. As Serenat turned the telescope left and right, she noticed that the colorful circles were waving to her. She rubbed her eyes away from the telescope. She must have been dreaming. When she approached the telescope again, she could see more clearly the waving, seven-colored sprays of different sizes. She immediately got up from where he was and went to Sonat. Sonat, wake up, brother. There are waving circles in the sky. She tried to wake her brother. Before the sleepy Sonat could understand what was happening, he found himself beside the telescope. He put his eyes to the telescope and said, "Yes, sister, there are circles waving smiling," he said. The two siblings began to watch them in amazement and wonder what would happen next. Journey to the universe of the notes. Surprised and excited, watching the objects smiling and waving at them, Serenat and Sonat heard the sounds of the red circle standing at the top. "Hi guys, my name is Do. Me and my friends want to meet you. Don't you want to come with us?" The uneasiness that the two siblings experienced at first gave way to curiosity. There were 7 very entertaining rounds in front of them and they wanted to meet them. Sonat said to her sister, "Sister, I want to go them and get to know them. Please, let's just say okay to them." Serenat was a little hesitant, but she wanted it very much, inwardly, and was curious. After thinking about it for a while, she nodded to Do as if to say okay. Do happily sent thumping with 5 strips and 4 strips so that Serenat and Sonat could come near them. Something similar to this wrote and comes up them. "Hello guys, my name is Port. I have come to take you to Do," it said. The two siblings, looking at each other, started to talk towards the sky above the port, holding hands, curiously as excitedly. Getting down the note plants. After a short journey, these two siblings were greeted with a warm welcome by Do. Do was a red planet. The first thing that caught their eyes was the red poppy flowers. Everywhere was chirping. Tearing the silence apart, Sonat asked, "Why is Do's color red?" Smiling, Do said, "In music, every note represents a color. My color is red. The colors of my other friends are also different." Serenat immediately thought of the piano in their house. "I get it now. So the colored bells on my father's piano had a meaning." Exactly, the answer was not late from Do. "All my friends will come to join us. They are all looking forward to meeting you." The two siblings were already starting to enjoy his beautiful planet. The rush, the games. Suddenly, they heard voices singing cheerful songs in the distance. The voices were getting closer. "I see you are very happy again, guys," called Do. "Yes, Do. What else could be as beautiful as music? It's always enough to make us happy," said the long one. When two siblings caught their attention, "Do we have guests today?" said the shorter one. Do said, "Yes, let me introduce you to our new friends, Serenat and Sonat. These are the Fa and Sol case guys." After it was said that we were mutually pleased, Serenat said, "We were tired of playing alone too. Our friends are growing. Wouldn't you like to join us too?" The Fa key that said, "Of course," had already started running after tapping the Sol key, saying tug. It was a good time for the two siblings, accompanied by love. There are many places to go. The siblings were tired, playing games and having a great time. They laid on their backs the flower gardens. Sonat said, "What good friends we have made, right, sister?" He looked at his sister with a smile. Do, who interrupted before Serenat could answer, "Wait, Sonat, there are many friends you will meet yet. If you have rested enough, you should set out to visit them one by one," it said. The two siblings stood up in curiosity and excitement and asked Do where is next. The name of their new friends they would meet was Re, saying goodbye to Key of Fa and Sol. The siblings thanked Do as well as and started walking over the port towards their new friends and continued their journey. Welcome to Planet Rare Kids. Hello friends, said this cute orange planet whose beauty grew as it got closer. The siblings greeted Ray by saying hello. How was your time at Doe? I hope you had fun, said Ray. Sonat said, yes, we had a lot of fun. Besides, we met Dufa and Solki there and became friends. Smiling, Ray said, I'm so happy about that. All planets in the universe of the notes are very beautiful and you can make many friends here. I hope you will be here, happy and my planet as well. The two siblings wasted no time getting to know the new planet. There were orange groves and the end of the which was unclear. Serenat, brother, let's run towards the orange groves. We both play and eat oranges, said to her brother. Holding hands, the siblings started running through the fragrant orange groves. Then they ate the juicy oranges they picked from the trees. They sat with their backs to one of the trees and began to watch this beautiful planet. They saw a hollow circle rolling towards them from the garden ahead. Sonat was a little uneasy. Serenat hugged her brother tightly and told him not to be afraid. The smiling round that comes up to them says, hello, Serenat and Sonat. I have been very happy since the moment I learned of your arrival. By the way, my name is Note. I am very pleased to have met you. We too. The two siblings said, smiling. Serenat said, when I saw you coming towards us from afar, I thought of the steel rod that I used to play with my friends on the street in front of our house, you know, the United Note. What kind of toy are you talking about? United Note asked in a somewhat confused tone. Serenat said, a hollow circle like you, but there is also a stick attached to it to turn it. United Note suddenly said, oh, like my little brother, 2 knots, and began to jump on the spot, smiling. Serenat was slowly beginning to understand what the United Note was trying to say. So all the notes are your brother, now I understand. Double note, quarter note, eighth note, has a demical note exactly. Yes, we are one big family, said United Note. They will be joining us soon. We play very good games together, he continued to tell. Sonat say, hurry, as always. He even started to rejoice. Planet of the Daisy is me. Serenat and Sonat had not realized how time flies on planet Rare. As Union Note mentioned, they had a very enjoyable time with the 8th, 16th, and 32 Note siblings who joined them later. They wanted to see the planet Me now. Port had already arrived to take them to another friend of it, Me. If you are ready, let the journey begin, he said, smiling. Serenat and Sonat started walking over the port, holding hands and playing. As they approached the planet's Me, a very yellow earth greeted them. The fragrant daisy fields were uniquely beautiful as the sun hit them. They looked around for a while. They listened to the bird song. They watched the bees working diligently to make honey. Then Me come up to them smiling. Welcome, guys. Like my other friends, I waited impatiently for you. You made me very happy. I hope you love my planet and have a good time, he said. Serenat and Sonat talk about the happiness of being there. While this nice conversation was going on, Dots, who heard that the siblings had come to their planet, come to them in one breath. Me introduced the Notes who came to them, to the siblings. Serenat and Sonat were a little taken aback, because the Dots once they met were a little different from the Notes they have been friends with. There were black bells stuck to them and they couldn't make sense of it. Noticing the bewildered looks of Serenat and Sonat, me smiled because it realized that they were surprised at the change in the dots. Me explained to them before the siblings asked why. The dots are a little different from our other music friends, guys. These black balls in front of them allowed them to take half a step ahead of their identical friends. In this way, they travel longer distance. Hearing this, Sonat said, "Wow, what a nice feature! Isn't it, my sister? It must be very enjoyable to be able to walk further away from your other friends." Dots, me and Serenat smiled. The siblings also loved the planet Me very much. They played hide and seek together and sang songs. They both met new friends and learned things they didn't know. Now they needed some rest for their journey to the planet Fa. Then, without wasting any time, they would continue to visit other planets. Green planet covered with forest Fa. Serenat and Sonat got very tired on planet Me, but they never complained about his situation. In fact, they were very eager to do other planets and make new friends as soon as possible. Port was very happy to see their excitement and tried to introduce them to all of its friends as much as it could. "If you are rest, we can set off to our new planet," said Port. Sonat said, "We are never tired, are we, my sister?" He turned to Serenat. "We are so happy and having fun that we never felt tired," replied Serenat. "Then we will now travel with you to a lush planet," said Port. Saying goodbye to all the friends they met and me, the siblings set off with Port without wasting time. As they got closer to the far planet, they realized that they could breathe much easier. Planet Fa was covered with forest with no end in sight. "They didn't call it the Green Planet for nothing," said Serenat to the Port. "Yes, Serenat, everyone on his planet protects trees and plants. Nature is like a precious treasure for this planet. Therefore, this is a unique place where you can see the most beautiful shades of green." When they finally arrived on the planet, the fellow of the siblings, "Welcome to my green planet. Trees and plants usually help us here. We can meet them and have a good time. We have a planet where our friends from other planets come to rest. I hope you will be very happy here and collect pleasant memories," it said. After Serenat and Sonat thanked them, they immediately started running through the lush forest. They saw it all around from friends they had met before. Some were resting, others were coming together to produce unique melodies. They saw a mulberry tree with a saddleback and moved towards it. "Welcome to our planet, guys," the mulberry tree called to them. "Here you can meet and play with all the friends you have ever met." He also made a small suggestion to siblings. "Also, don't forget to sing songs, okay?" Just as the siblings were about to leave the mulberry tree, Serenat turned back to the mulberry tree and said, "Can I ask you something, mulberry tree?" "Of course," said old mulberry. "My father has many musical instruments at home, but one of his favorite instruments is the saz. I once asked him what these saz were made of. He told me that it was made of mulberry wood. So now the saz in our houses are made from you?" Mulberry gave a big laugh first. Then he said, "Come with me, let me tell you how your father's saz are made." The two siblings sat opposite each other and the mulberry tree and began to listen to what we had to say in wonder. Mulberry tree said, "Yes, children, your father was right. Mulberry wood is the oldest now and widely used material for saz. When my friends who are a little older than me can no longer benefit nature, they are turned into beautiful musical instruments by being processed by skilled hands. Saz is one of them. Continuing his words, the lonely mulberry tree said, "Of course, not just musical instruments. Wood is always used as a material in the production of the paper, napkin, notebook and furniture you use in your daily life. But there is one very important thing that you must keep in mind." With a Russian accent, Sonat said, "What's the important thing?" Mulberry Tree said, "Even though wood is used to produce all these materials that make people's lives easier, it should never be waste. Trees should not be cut unnecessarily and nature should be protected by you." The two siblings nodded in agreement with the mulberry tree. Sonat turned to the mulberry tree with excitement and said, "Hurry! Then I protect the fruit trees in our garden by making them drink water." Mulberry tree and Serenat laughed cheerfully and said, "Well done," to Sonat, and they said what he did was very right behavior. Saying goodbye to the mulberry tree, the siblings continued to wander around the planet Fa. Resting in the shadows of the trees and recognizing them, they agreed with notes, went to some of them and sang songs and played games. When they were alone for a while, Serenat said to her brother, "You know what, brother? I didn't really like the green color until I came here. We realized once again how precious nature is to us. From now on, we will tell everyone around us, our friends, that we need to work harder to protect our environment." Then he took her brother's hand and started walking towards the Fa. Fa had become one of the two siblings' favorite planets. They both had a good time and learned a lot of important information. The two siblings thanked Fa for hosting them and making anything for their enjoyment. The port has already arrived to embark on their new journey. Are we ready, guys? Blue seas, brilliant skies, planet Sol. Serenat and Sonat were having such a good time on every planet they went that they were sad when they left. But at the same time, they could not hide their impatience to see new place. The port was aware of what had happened, and it liked the way the siblings dismounted. "How is your time going, guys?" it asked suddenly. Sonat was hasty as always. "Very beautiful port. Every place we go is beautiful," he said. Serenat, on the other hand, was trying to learn something wherever she saw it and was trying to share all these with those around her. "I'm very happy, port," she smiled sad. The new planet was beginning to appear. Sonat said, "Oh, are we going back to Earth?" Port said with a smile, "No, Sonat, we still have a friends to go to." "And why didn't you think like that?" Sonat said, "Look, it's blue planet, just like our world." Sonat was indeed telling truth. They had never encountered this much blue on previous planets. They arrived on the planet Sol. Blue seas and sparkling sky greeted them. For several minutes they looked around in surprise. They hadn't even noticed Sol coming to say hello to them. "Welcome, guys. I'm so glad to see you," said Sol. Confused, the siblings said, "We too. Are you so surprised? Or did you not like our planet?" continued Sol. Serenat said, "Is there any chance of it? Every place is so beautiful that we are amazed by it. There were no stars in the sky. They were replaced by notes and other members of the music family. Some were too far away. Yet the sky was so clear and bright that his eyes could see them all." Sol accompanied them and introduced their planet for a while. Then said, "Walk as much as you want, have you? If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." The siblings thanked Sol and began to enjoy his blue planet. They ran along the beach by the sea. They sang by holding hand in hand. They lay down and watched the notes dance in the sky. Suddenly the sea called out them and said, "Welcome to our planet, friends," by waving hands. The siblings also waved to the sea and said, "Hello." The sea said, "If you want, I can take you the short trip in my water." Yes, Sonat jumped happily. Serenat asked the sea, "But what will we travel with?" Sharp flats. The sea shouted loudly. After a while, they saw three things coming towards them from the opposite direction. After saluting the sea, they also met Serenat and Sonat. Sonat turned to Sharp and said, "You know what? You are like the fence that surrounds our garden. It's like you are one of them." Right after that, Serenat turned to Flats and said, "You look like the letter B in our alphabet." Flat and Sharp thanked the siblings, even though they didn't know what they were compared to. The sea said, "Come on then, let's not waste any more time." Sharp said, "You guys will sit on me. Serenat will take on the flat and Sonat will take the other flat to make me float so we can go wherever we want." Flats came to the side of the siblings, who had carefully climbed over Sharp hand in hand. The siblings started to float Sharp with the help of Flats. They approached all possible shores. They met the new friends on each shore and became partners in their games. As always, they didn't understand how time flies. Port had already arrived to take them to their new friend. Serenat and Sonat thanked the sea, Sharp and Flats. They helped them to see what was on the left to recognize new places. The biggest thank, of course, was to this unique blue planet, Sol. They agreed to meet again and set off for another adventure. The planet of the night, La. The siblings had come to a new planet with Port. It was dark. The Serenat asked the Port, "Why is it night here?" Port, "La is a bit of sleepy planet. He always stays late when we gather because he can't wake up," said smiling. After a while, it was none other than La who came to them, rubbing his eyes. "Welcome, guys. I thought I would take a nap, but I sleep a lot. I'm sorry I couldn't greet you." Then he turned to Port and said, "I wish you had taken our friends around my planet." Then they shouldn't say, "We are so bored on the planet, La." He smiled. "Don't worry, I'm always with them. I introduced them to all of our friends I see," said Port. Then they started to wander around together. Sonat suddenly turned to her sister and said, "Sister, do you hear the voice?" Serenat began to listen carefully. As the Sonat said, there was a loud roar of speech. Serenat said to the Port, "Do you hear the voice, Port?" Port began to listen carefully, too. Then he said, Yes, guys, sleep with my mind for a moment." Up ahead is the Snow's universe new center. These speech sounds come from there. Serenat said, "The newsroom? I didn't understand anything." Port understood the siblings' confusion. "Just let me take you there. You understand everything by observing," Port said. After a short journey, they arrived at the place where the conversation were taking place. "This is the place I told you about," said Port. Dozens of Snows were talking all the time with their headphones on. The siblings couldn't make sense of all his and were intrigued. Serenat said, "Can you tell us what's happening now, Port?" "Okay," said Port, smiling. "The notes here are exchanging information about all planets and the children to be hosts from the world. All these efforts are for them so that they can have a good time when they come like you and not have any mishaps." Sonat said, "Are there any other children coming here? So where are they?" Port said, "When we start our journey, only the friends we invite are with us. But right now we have little friends on other planets too." It always goes like this. Serenat, so while we are on planet Tre, Do is hosting other friends, am I correct? Just so, Serenat, replied the port. The two siblings watched what happened for a while. They were so busy and the notes were constantly running so that nothing wrong would happen. Port took the Serenat and Sonat with him to the United Note. United Note, the official of the Note's Universe News Center, welcomed the siblings very warmly. Then he turned to them and said, "Our planet may seem a little confusing to you guys. Maybe you couldn't make sense of what you saw, but believe me, it's all for you." United Note gave them small gifts. The siblings asked permission to spend some time there and watch what was going on. Sometimes they tried to help with the notes. Sonat said to her sister, "I'm glad you made such good friends, sister. Look how they try to keep the kids happy." "You are right, my brother," said Serenat. Then she made a wish by herself. Always the best for the children in the world. Seeing Port coming to them, the siblings understood what it was time to say goodbye. The last planet of the adventure. Port noticed that the Serenat and Sonat were sullen. "What happened, guys? Why are you sullen? Is something happened to bother you?" it asked. Serenat said, "We didn't understand how the time passed. We have collected so many good memories that we were sad this beautiful adventure will end." "You have many friends now," said Port, "and every time you dream, they will be with you. And now stop being sad. I will have a very nice surprise for you, son." He continued. Sonat couldn't hide his excitement as usual and said, "Come on, Port, don't make us worry. What's your surprise for us?" she asked. Port said, "Have a little patience. Be sure that it will be worth it," he said, and continued the journey to the new planet at full speed. They had arrived on the new planet. Here, too, they were greeted by all the beauty of the purple color. Was lavender gardens, orchid flowers, wisteria, and more. Serenat was filled with peace. She took a big breath, then said, "Oh." She smiled. "Isn't it peaceful, Sonat?" she asked her brother. "Yes, sister, good smells are coming from everywhere. It's a beautiful planet," he said. "Welcome, guys. La 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 la." The owner of this beautiful planet was none other than C, who sang and said hello to them. "I hope all our friends have hosted and welcomed you well." Serenat said, "Yes, we had many friends from though until we came here. We learned new things. We saw how hard you tried to make the children happy. So, my brother, and thank you all very much." She said, "It's always the children who most deserve to be happy. Here you will be with all friends you have ever seen and met. They will all come and we will have a great day. Just tell me whatever you want." As usual, the siblings didn't realize how time passed. They had a lot of fun and very happy. Realizing that the sky suddenly became crowded, Sonat said, "Sister, look at the sky. How crowded it got. And they are all coming here." Serenat saw the same thing when she lifted from head up. It was indeed crowded, but at the same time cute things were coming towards them. All laughing, waving and saying, "Hello, hello." All the planets from Do, Tula, and other friends they knew were with them. After everyone had arrived, Do asked to speak to behalf on entire planets and universe of notes. "I'm glad you agreed to come our planets and meet our friends. We are very happy to be friends with you. We are glad that you had a good time. Keep in mind that from now on, we will be with you every moment you dream." Serenat had heard a similar phrase from the port before. She didn't quite understand at that moment. Afterwards, she said, "Sonat and I would like to thank you." We didn't realize how the time passed. Each of you hustled us very well. We helped us from new friends and learn new things. Suddenly, Sonat shouted then, "Long live in universe of notes," he said, raising his arms in the air. Everyone burst into laughter and applauded Sonat. Just then, Port said, "I made a promise to you on the way here, remember?" It asked the siblings. Sonat said, "Yes, we remember, Port. What was your surprise for us?" he asked. Port smiled and rose high into the sky in a flash. Watching Port with stunned eyes, the siblings suddenly noticed the activity around them. The notes murmured a beautiful melody and, one at a time, ascended into the sky and hugged up the dawn over the port. Though to all the notes shouted, "Let's sing our song together," the notes started to sing the song in unison. Be happy, kids. Do, re, mi, fa, fa, la, sol. Always smile, kids. Do, sol, sol, la, sol, fa, mi. In the universe of the notes. Sol, sol, re, mi, fa, mi, re. You have friends of lots. Fa, fa, mi, re, do. Serenat and Sonat suddenly found themselves singing this beautiful song. Everyone was accompanying Port and its friends, some with applause, some with singing. The siblings said with all their might, "Thank you and your friends so much." They shouted into the sky. The Port waved back to them. The sky had become very crowded just as they had first arrived at sea. All the planets and notes continued to sing and song while waving to the Serenat and Sonat. Where are my friends? On a warm sunny day, sun was all around the Çelik family's house. Serenat had woken up mumbling. Rubbing her eyes, she suddenly jumped out of bed. Sonat was still sleeping in his bed. She just stood there in the middle of the room. She looked around, trying to understand what was going on. None of his friends were with her. She immediately went to the telescope in front of the glass. She brought his eyes closer to the telescope with great excitement and began to watch the sky, looking left and right. There was no one but the blue of the sky and the clouds. How? She asked herself. Mrs. Yağmur's voice could be heard from below. "Come on, sleepyheads, breakfast is ready." Everyone to the table, Serenat, who went to Sonat, who responded to her mother's voice by turning in his bed, said, "Wake up, my brother. There is no from the universe of notes." "Where has it all gone?" she asked. Sonat didn't understand anything of what her sister was saying. "What note? What planet, my sister?" he asked. Serenat didn't answer. It was the first breakfast of the Çelik family in their new home. It was a happy morning from everyone. Mr. Evren asked, "Could you guys sleep well?" "Yeah," cried Sonat. "I love our new home, Daddy. I want to play games in the garden and meet friends as soon as possible. Besides, I'm going to make my trees drink water." Sonat managed to make everyone at the table laugh again. Mrs. Yağmur had seen Serenat a little distracted. "What's wrong, my daughter? You don't seem to have much taste. Are you sick?" she asked. "No, Mommy. I guess I didn't sleep well," replied Serenat. Mr. Evren also noticed the stagnation in his daughter, but he attributed this to the fact that it was the first day at home and the process of getting used to it. Coming to new environment and being separate from their friends should not have been easy for them. As parents, they were trying to understand this. Mr. Evren said, "Well, did you like our telescope?" to the siblings. This time it was Serenat who answered excitedly, her eyes gleaming. "Yes, Dad. It's so nice to watch the sky. We also made of the lots of friends," she said. Mr. Evren and Mrs. Yağmur looked at each other. Mrs. Yağmur, "Let's see which new friends are these," said to Serenat. Realizing what she was saying with excitement, all of a sudden, Serenat said, "The moon, the stars, I'm talking about them as friends, Mommy." There was laughter at the table again. Serenat hadn't been able to tell everyone about the universe of the notes because she thought they wouldn't believe her. However, she had gone on a very nice trip and met those of beautiful friends. Someone know my friends. After breakfast, Mr. Evren and Mrs. Yağmur were busy with the housework while the siblings who took permission from their parents went out to play in the garden. First, they made the Sonat's trees drink water. Then they met other children in the area. Sonat had found many friends at his age. The first friend he made in their new home was Beste, who came running to Serenat. "Who are you, Serenat?" she asked. "Thank you, Beste. How are you?" replied Serenat. "I'm fine too. Come on, let's play games together," she said. They had already begun to run. They played games and danced. They are quite tired. They lay on their back in the garden, looking up the sky and chatting. She wanted very much to tell Beste about the universe of the notes. The only thing she was afraid of was that she didn't understand her or even mocked her. She took a deep breath, mustered up her courage and turned to Beste. "You know, Beste, while watching the sky with a telescope last night, we saw things that called me and Sonat to them. We decided to go. The names of there is the universe of notes. There are 7 notes and their planets. There were different friends in each. We met all of them and became friends. When I woke up in the morning, none of them were with us. I asked Sonat, but he doesn't remember such a thing. I didn't tell anyone either. Believe me, I was really with them. I had a great time with all of them." She told all these in a breath. Bessie started to laugh. Serenat was suddenly angry. "I saw you as a friend and told and shared what happened to me. But you are laughing here, making fun of me," she said. Beste said, "No, I'm not kidding. I'm laughing with happiness. In fact, I'm very happy that I'm not crazy." As soon as Serenat said, "I don't understand what you mean." "Everyone in the Notes universe is my friend too," said Beste. "Really?" She hugged Beste excitedly. She was very happy to find someone who understood her and knew her friends. They chatted for hours, talking to each other about the universe of the Notes. They talked about what they had been through, what they had seen, and the friends they had met. Time flew by like water. It was already evening, and mothers were calling their children home as usual. "Where are you, my friends?" Serenat wanted it to be night as soon as possible. After everyone went to sleep, she would watch the sky without leaving the telescope. Right after she ate her dinner, she asked her mother, "When will go to the bed, Mommy?" Mrs. Yağmur said, "It's too early, my daughter. You must have been very tired outside today." Serenat could only say, "Yeah, I guess I'm a little tired." Her parents were watching TV and Serenat was playing with her brother. But Serenat's eyes was always on the clock. Finally, Mr. Evren said, "Yes, children, it's time for the bed. You have been sitting quite a while today. Brush teeth, then go straight to bed." It was probably Serenat who was most happy about it. Everyone had gone to bed, but Serenat was waiting for everyone in the house to sleep. She turned and stood in her bed for several hours. She then got up and sat quietly by the telescope. She started watching the sky with excitement. There were only millions of stars illuminating the sky and Sonat's grandfather moon. She waited until her eyes closed for Do to wave to her with a smile. But nobody came. Serenat was already asleep by the telescope. Don't forget, there is only one way to go to our friends. Serenat was sad that she could not meet her friends the next day. She wanted so much to see them again, but she didn't know how it would be happened. She asked her mother for permission to go out and moon. Then she called Beste. The two friends met in their garden. Serenat immediately began to tell what had happened. I waited a lot for doll last night, but it didn't come. I would love to spend time with them again, but I don't know how. She said to Beste. Serenat, there is only one way to go to our friends, said Beste. What is it? Serenat was quick to say. They will be with you every moment you dream of it, said Beste. Serenat remembered hearing that sentence a few more times. Portendo also used this phrase. Yup, she said. Actually, they talked about it. But I couldn't understand. Thank you so much, Beste, for helping me remember, she said and hugged her friend. Imagine is the first step of reality. Serenat was very cheerful all day long. She played games with her brother, helped her mother in the kitchen. She even took her father's coffee in the evening. There was only one reason for this happiness, to be able to meet with friends again. It was bedtime, as on other days, and everyone had retired on their rooms. Serenat sat down at her telescope again. She paused suddenly. I don't need a telescope to dream, she said. Then she lied down on her bed, put her hands under her head, and closed her eyes. A moment later, Doe appeared, smiling and waving at her. Hello again, Serenat. We said we would be there for you every moment you dreamed. Besides, Beste will accompany you on our journey this time.